Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome. Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We're just watching this Vraylar commercial. You know, the possible side effects. This one I'd never heard before.
Oh, no.
May cause uncontrollable muscle movement.
Oh, that's a new one.
Which can be permanent.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, sign me up for that.
What is
because I'm willing to take that chance. I'm going to have uncontrollable muscle movement for the rest of my life. You know, like the woman after the vaccine?
Yeah.
No,
right.
thanks.
Yeah, what's
It's
the...
crazy.
I don't know what that drug on that commercial... Do you remember what it does? But whatever it does, the trade-off possibilities is not worth it. Not worth the risk. No.
I mean, some of them have taken to talking about it may cause and lists all the side effects, or even death. Or even death. This can kill me. Really?
Look.
How often does that happen?
Do you want the possibility of feeling better or not?
No, I do. I just don't want the equal possibility of it killing me and not feeling anything at all. Forever.
Seriously.
Crazy. I mean, it's just nuts. Which brings us to Gavin Newsom giving details on upcoming vaccine verification.
Oh, boy.
The system they're going to use for that in California.
Like New York, huh?
Yep. They announced the state will soon be rolling out a new vaccine verification system for private businesses that may be akin to a passport. During an event in San Francisco Monday, Newsom clarified that the system will essentially just be electronic vaccine cards that individuals can keep on their phones as opposed to carrying around the paper card.
Sure. So convenient. Remember, they always go with the convenience, right?
Yeah. So it's completely different from, let me see your papers, please.
Yeah.
Because they're not papers.
Let me see your smartphone, please.
You're right. So that's totally different than the
It's
Nazis.
a completely different thing. And to try to equate the two.
No, it's silly.
Silly,
because it's not even on paper.
Yeah, don't be irresponsible with your reporting of the news, Mr. Gray.
It's not a passport. It's not a requirement. It's just the ability now to have an electronic version of that paper version. So you'll hear more about that in the next couple of days.
All right.
Earlier this week, the state fully reopened without capacity limits. Wow.
Yeah. Makes the looting easier now.
It sure does, and they're doing it. Businesses can require individuals to show their vaccine cards to prove they don't need to wear a mask. California is adopting the current CDC guideline that vaccinated individuals need not wear a mask in most settings. That's fantastic.
But it's not required, Pat.
No. Come on.
You know.
Silly. They're not going to ask to see your papers because it's not on paper.
Thank you.
It's digital, stupid.
I'm glad you can see the difference.
Oh, big time. Big time.
We are asking for trouble. This country.
You'd have to be a right-wing kook to think that that's any sort of scary. It's really not. It's really not. Now, I asked for this yesterday.
Yeah.
And apparently it's already here.
Oh, no.
Storing medical information below the skin's surface.
Oh, come on.
That's great. In fact, they were talking about this clear back in December of 2019.
Yeah, the story that was sent to me, December of 19.
Every year, a lack of vaccination leads to about 1.5 million preventable deaths, primarily in developing nations. One factor that makes vaccination campaigns in those nations more difficult is that there is little infrastructure for starting and storing medical records.
But listen to this story. That is exactly could have been written today.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, no.
So there's often no easy way to determine who needs a particular vaccine. But MIT researchers have come to the rescue. They've now developed a novel way to respond to a patient's vaccination history, storing the data in a pattern of dye invisible to the naked eye that's delivered under the skin at the same time as the vaccine. How convenient is that?
How convenient is that? Oh, no.
Again, I don't want to hear your belly aching about being tracked or the mark of the beast. This is completely different. This is just for your protection and your safety and your convenience.
And I'd like to piggyback your earlier point and kind of accentuate the fact that this too is not papers.
It is not. That's correct. This is new technology. It's not papers.
Oh, boy.
Paper is old school.
Old school.
Don't even come to me with this papers thing. I don't want to hear it. In areas where paper vaccination cards are often lost or do not exist at all, and electronic databases are unheard of, this technology could enable the rapid and anonymous detection of patient vaccination history to ensure that every child is vaccinated. And again, this is from 2 years ago, way before the virus hit. Researchers showed that their new dye, which consists of nanocrystals called quantum dots, can remain for at least 5 years under the skin, where it emits near-infrared light that can be detected by a specifically equipped smartphone.
You just used the word
incredible.
Nano and quantum in the same sentence? That spells trouble.
Yeah, it kind of does. That is something else, isn't it?
Boy. Well, anyway, this is going to be fun.
Nothing to worry
about.
It's
going to get real good up in here.
I don't even want to hear your belly aching about it because it's perfectly safe, perfectly sound, and perfectly reasonable.
And it's right under the skin. It's not like it's like way down deep. You know what I mean? It's just right there. You don't have to...
Yeah, they're not injecting it into your bone structure.
Thank you.
It's just under your skin a little bit.
Mr. Brightside, right there.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to be sitting here a year from now. And we're going to say, are you getting the chip? Are you going to get the chip? It's so much more convenient. I mean, we keep losing our cards and all this stuff. And
Well, if you don't get the chip, it's fine.
Yeah.
You just can't participate in the marketplace. You can't buy anything. You can't go anywhere. You can't have a job.
So beyond that, though,
but
I
beyond
get to
that,
do stuff.
You're perfectly fine not getting the chip. You don't want the chip? Don't get the chip. Stay home and sit there. You won't be able to participate in a lot of different things, but, that's your choice. You have the choice to be free from all of those things, from concerts and grocery stores, mailing things at the post office. You don't have to do any of that. Don't worry about it.
Societal Trainwreck. Oh, good band name.
Yeah, it would be, actually. I like that.
It's easy to fake a card. It's easy to fake an image on your phone.
Can't fake the under the skin thing.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Faking that one.
Yeah. And I don't want anything under my skin, the fake thing or the real thing.
Right. I'm
not doing that.
Exactly. I don't want anything in the skin, even if it's saying, oh, I'm good to go.
No. Nope. Sorry. All right. So yesterday was the big Biden-Putin sit-down confab summit. And, man, did they have some fun. You can tell there was some real chemistry between the two of them.
Yeah, that's the word.
Oh, man. So here they are sitting down together.
Oh. Boy, Putin's relaxed. You know it?
Yeah, he is. He's got the man spread.
Yeah. Biden's got his flashcards. You see that? He picked up flashcard.
Yep.
To sit down in a room for a photo op?
Well, and the big deal was the teleprompter, too, at the press conference, that he had to use a teleprompter. It's not good what's going on with this guy. It's not good. It's also not good what they've been saying, our own administration, about the United States of America being systemically racist, filled with haters. The January 6th thing was an insurrection mounted by, the most dangerous domestic threat we face, a bunch of white supremacists. So they've been trumpeting that now for months, for years, as a matter of fact. And so you don't think the rest of the world is going to use that against us? Of course they are. And they did. Putin was asked about political violence in his country. And, of course, he turned it around.
You didn't answer my question, sir. If all of your political opponents are dead, in prison, poisoned, doesn't that send a message that you do not want a fair political fight?
Well, on the question of who is murdering whom, people rioted and went into the Congress in the US with political demands. And many people were declared as criminals, and they are threatened with imprisonment from 20 to 25 years.
Hello, translator. Hello.
And these people were immediately arrested after those events.
Okay, quicker, please.
On what grounds, we don't know always.
That's true. That's true.
The states didn't actually inform us about that. One of the participants were just shot on the spot.
Oh.
And
true.
Unarmed as well.
True. That's amazing.
Many countries are going through exactly what we're going through. Let me just repeat.
No,
we sympathize with what was happening in the States, but we do not wish that to happen in Russia.
There you go. What do you say to that?
What a smooth operator.
You're pretty much right about all that. But that's not the point. I'm asking you about your stuff. Plus, you're killing your political opposition. I mean, you're poisoning everybody who disagrees with you. That's not happening here. However...
Yeah, he pulled a Democrat play right there.
However, he used Democrat talking points. Yeah. The left gave him a whole list of talking points, and he used it. So, thank you, Democrats. That's what you've wrought. Are you proud of yourselves? Are you happy? You've basically said that we're on par with Russia. That's what you've been. Yeah, that's the kind of mud you've been dragging us through over the last 6 months since January 1st.
Yeah, Putin seemed pretty
6th.
confident during his press conference. It didn't sound like he gave in to anything, any kind of demand from Biden, and. Neat.
It's agonizing. It's agonizing. And the Biden administration's responsible for it. So you made this bed. Now you have to lay in it. So Biden then started, as you noticed, Keith, he had the cards to check out. And so he started checking them for who he was allowed to call on. Because he doesn't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble, so let me see who I can call on here.
Every day.
I'll take your questions, and as usual, folks, they gave me a list of the people I'm going to call on. So, Jonathan, Associated Press.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, so there you go. Yeah.
Why does he feel it necessary to keep saying that? They gave me a list, and I've got to follow it. I'm going to get in trouble.
Seriously.
Weird.
It's kind of like I was telling your call screener.
It's kind of like that. Yeah. That doesn't need to be said because nobody is privy to that conversation. Okay, so you don't have to talk about what you talked about with the call screener. Just talk about it.
So I don't want to get in trouble with my call screener, but
it's exactly what it's like.
They told me that we were going to talk about...
It is way worse for the President of the United States to keep saying that and looking like a weakling. Like a little pansy who can't call on people on his own. And he can't, apparently. I'll bet you he can't. I'll bet you he can't remember the names, or he would get lost trying to figure it out.
Well, okay, but he's only calling on specific reporters because he doesn't know and because they're approved reporters. Mm-hmm. But who cares if he were confident in what he was saying?
He'd just march up there and say,
he's
hey,
like,
Bob Stevens from the Associated Press.
But even if he doesn't know Bob Stevens' name, it's like, you in the front here. Yeah, whatever. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Trump did that a lot.
And Trump would say, like, who are you with, right? Okay, oh, you're fake news. Got it. So, you know, it's, who cares if he knows the name? It's not about that. It's about who got clearance from the call screener.
But even if you're going to use her name, just read what they gave you. And don't tell us that they gave it to you.
Right, that's another option.
Right? Bob Stevens, Associated Press, go ahead.
Right.
And then you answer the question, if you can, if your mind will work, which is very, very
not
iffy.
Doing so well.
No, not doing well at all. All right, there's much more to get into with the Biden-Putin summit yesterday. We'll get to that coming up in a minute. First, let me tell you about Real Estate Agents I Trust. Trying to sell your home is a big, big challenge. And if you're relocating, you're selling, and you're buying, and that's really tough. And you got to kind of, you sort of have to sync it so that, you know, you get out of one and into the other at the right time. And you need a realtor to let you know which changes you should make, or if any, to your house so that it sells quickly and for the most amount of money. And you don't want your house to sit there on the market because inevitably, if it does, the price is going down. Now, these are great agents who can give you really good advice and have great marketing plans so that they get your house sold quickly. So go to Real Estate Agents I Trust. The name says it all. These are people you're going to really love and love to do business with because they have a lot in common with you. They're fans of the show, and they get things done for you. RealestateAgentsITrust.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Then Biden confused Putin with Trump momentarily, it seemed.
I caught part of President Putin's press conference.
Bro.
I got part of President Trump, Putin, Trump Putin conference.
Trump is still living rent-free in Biden's head. And
isn't that interesting? Yeah.
He just spent 4 hours sitting next to Vladimir Putin. He should
and
be
you don't
top
know who
of
it was.
mind.
Should be, but isn't. Then he talked about the 16 areas of critical infrastructure.
Cybersecurity. I talked about the proposition that certain critical infrastructure should be off limits to attack, period. By cyber or any other means. I gave them a list. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me, 16 specific entities. 16 defined as critical infrastructure.
Wow. That's
I don't
bad.
have it in front of me. I don't know any of the critical areas. Can't even name you one because it's not written down in front of me.
But
even if it were written down, I still couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's bad enough. But I think the bad thing is...
The bad thing is that he's kind of asking him. I said to him, these should be off limit. You shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't demand that he stop or there's going to be hell to pay? We'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't touch these critical areas of infrastructure.
Yeah.
Please, Mr. Putin.
The way Brandon Morse put it on Twitter last night, it's like, that's like handing a list to your opponent before you get in the boxing ring. It says, these are my weak areas.
Don't hit me in the chin.
Please don't hit me there.
Don't hit me in the nose.
Seriously.
I will crumple like a cheap suit if you hit me in the stomach. I got a glass stomach. Please don't hit me there.
And you know what that was?
Great.
That was a list saying, hey, these are places in our economy that we'd actually like to take over. Why don't you not hit us there with cyber stuff? No hacking, bad stuff. Don't go after these areas that we want to control in America.
And like Putin gives a crap about his critical infrastructure. Jeez. You know that's just incentive for him now. I don't know. This is really bad. These people, they cannot govern this nation. He certainly can't, and he doesn't seem to have people around him who can contribute either.
Less than 5 months in of a 48-month ride.
I mean, I'm not saying anything, quite frankly.
Yeah, we know.
Also, you know, he's crotchety like an old man now. And if you challenge him, he gets really irritated. And he did yesterday when he was leaving the press conference and people were asking him questions and he got pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Pause it for a second. Now, he's almost at the door. Mm-hmm. Just walk out. What are you stopping for?
Yep.
Why are you stopping, you old coot? Get in the door.
Yeah,
Come on.
Keep walking, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't. He can't.
But he hears something about Paul Whelan, who's being held over there, and he's like, "Oh snap!
Oh snap! Here it is."
I say again, we can't hear you. I said the families of the detained Americans came up and we discussed it. We're going to follow through with that discussion. I am not going to walk away on that.
Why are you so confident he'll change his behavior, Mr. President?
I'm not confident.
How dare you say that?
So when did I say I was confident?
You said in the next 6 months you'll be able to determine.
What I said was, let's get it straight.
Why are you pissed
I
about
said
that?
what will change their behavior is if the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes their standing in the world. I'm not confident of anything. I'm just stating the fact.
But given his past
Weird.
behavior has not changed, and in that press conference after sitting down with you for several hours, he denied any involvement in cyber attacks. He downplayed human rights abuses. He even refused to say Alexei Navalny's name. So how does that account to a constructive meeting as President Putin?
You don't understand that. You're in the wrong business.
Is the summit with China next?
Who we need to load? Who we need to load quickly? Let's go quickly.
Wow.
There's a ton
Wow.
in that clip.
Yeah.
He obviously he lost his cool. He didn't have to address that.
Right.
He got up in her face like, "What do you do all day?" Oh, weird. But did you catch that though? Where he's like, "I didn't say I was confident.
Yeah, I'm not confident about anything.
I'm not confident about anything." In other words,
well, that's a problem.
I don't want Putin to think that I'm confident. I want he's in charge, and he also gave in. He said we need the rest of the world to lead on this. Bro, we're America. He's now his foreign policy here with Putin is the rest of the world needs to ostracize him. That's how we're going to get this done.
And as the leader of the free world, he's talking to the leader of the Russians. They're holding one of our people. What you tell him is return him, or there's going to be hell to pay. And you put your foot down. He's like, I'm not going to stop on that. What do you mean you're not going to stop? You should already have it fixed. He should be calling his people and putting our guy on a plane right now. Why are you putting up with this? How is this happening? There are so many aspects to that. And then I guess his people probably said, "Ooh, Mr. President, that looked really bad. That was a woman, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You shut her down. There didn't seem to be any reason for you to get pissy with her like that. So maybe you should apologize when you come out here." And he did.
I owe my last question an apology. I shouldn't have.
You owe your last question
such a wise guy
an
with the
apology.
last answer I gave. Anyway,
This guy is
thanks for
unbelievable.
being here. And most of you have been here the whole route. I really do think, not me, but I think we, the country, has put a different face on where we've been.
Yeah,
and where
you
we're
sure
going.
have. You sure
I
have.
feel good about it. I
Okay.
feel, you know,
I don't.
one of the things that I think, understandably, there was a good deal of skepticism about would the G7 sign on and give America back its sort of leadership role. I think it did. It wasn't me, but they're glad America's back. They're glad America's back, and they acted that way. And then when we went to NATO, I think it was the
Gotta be
same
kidding
thing. We had really good meetings there, really, as well as the EU. I didn't get one single person, not one of the world leaders, said doing anything other than thank me for arranging a meeting with Putin. And I thought, quite frankly, I was in a much better position to represent the West after the previous 3 meetings with Putin, that knowing that the rest of the West was behind us. And so I think, so I owe them all a debt of gratitude.
Jeez. Yeah, you put a different face on it. You sure have. A face of absolute weakness. That's the face that everybody appreciates. Yeah, a weak America is good for our enemies. Maybe our allies are a little concerned, but everybody's glad that they can push him around. Yeah, they're glad that we've got a different person in there because he can be manipulated and he can be moved around anywhere they want him. Completely manipulated. And then for him to come out and say, I apologize to the last question, not to the last person, but to you're apologizing to the question?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, everything about the guy is just ridiculous and wrong. Everything about him.
It was a wisecrack.
Man. It wasn't a wisecrack. You were pissed off because how dare she challenge you? How dare she ask you a question that you didn't like?
Well, yeah, I think it's... Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I don't think so. I think he had just spent the last 4 hours getting his ass kicked by Putin.
Sure.
And he's in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And, whoa, I didn't say I was confident. Because, he doesn't want to upset Putin any more than he already has that day. It's just, what a terrible day for America yesterday.
Really bad day. In a really bad year so far for America. But we knew this was going to happen. I just didn't. I hoped it wouldn't be this bad, but it's worse than I imagined.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, his domestic policy is an absolute catastrophe, and his foreign policy is a disaster. So, what's he doing well so far?
That's a good question.
And our economy is in the crapper. Mm-hmm. We got inflation that's kicking in, highest in the last 15 years, and it's going to get worse. Interest rates are going to go up. It's going to get It's going to get to the point where you can't buy a house anymore very, very soon. So,
well, unless you're in California and you're black and their reparations plan possibly goes through where the state ends up owning 45% of the cost of the house and you only have to put down 55% of the cost. But even that seems just way too high. Should be 100% state of California. That's a reparations plan that they're talking about out there. So it'll be affordable for some people, Pat.
That'd be a nice little plan, huh?
God.
Wow.
But that's a great question that you just threw out there. It's like, what has he done well?
Absolutely nothing I can think of.
From either side's perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what? If you're happy about shutting down the Keystone Pipeline and killing American jobs, what?
He's done the drilling ban, which, by the way, was just blocked by a judge. Fortunately, a federal judge in Louisiana just blocked the Biden administration's suspension of new oil and gas leases on federal land and water, claiming the administration, I love this, provided no rational explanation for the ban and did not follow the law in executing it. And it could cost billions of dollars. And it didn't make any sense. So he stopped their ban. So that's great. So what is it that he can point to that he's accomplished and has gotten better for Americans?
Yeah, and I was reading something, the company that was in charge of building the Keystone Pipeline, if I read this correctly a couple of weeks ago, it was that they're just giving up. They've been fighting and fighting, and they thought they were going to do it. In other words, the land where the pipeline would be, like they're just like throwing in the towel. Like, enough of this.
They're letting it go.
Done. Yeah, so this...
Jeez.
I don't know how you restart something like this. What a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
Guy's done nothing good. Nothing. And the stuff that we're waiting on that's going to happen are just threats of it going to get even worse.
The border's worse.
Taxes. Everything.
Taxes are worse. They're going to get even worse than this.
Yeah.
They're talking about an additional death tax. Now, right now...
Wait.
Yeah, an additional death tax where...
You have to die twice? What's going on?
No, it's some newfangled thing. Let me see if I can find. I'll look for the story because it's amazing.
Oh no!
And the end result of it is that it's not just for millionaires. Somehow this kicks in at a much lower rate and affects people with just modest inheritance that they could pass on.
Is this it, Pat? His proposed levy on unrealized capital gains would hit some modest estates especially hard? That's the New York Times saying that.
The New York Times!
Oh, my goodness.
Hell, those right-wing kooks, they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, so it can start at a much lower rate than presently.
Good.
So that's good, too.
That is good, because you got to have money to fund all your socialist utopian plans, man.
Right. And when people die, you don't want them passing on their wealth to their children.
No, well, that's not fair.
They don't have any right to it. It's the government's. 888-900-3393. More Packer Unleashed coming up. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Got some tweets here from Mustang Vet. But how are you going to sit at home? This is because you don't have the chip. Okay. So if you don't have the chip, you can't You can't participate in commerce.
That sucks.
Sit at home. How are you going to do that if you don't have the chip? Because you can't have a job to pay for that home. Government to the rescue.
No kidding.
That's exactly how.
Well, I don't know. Will the government come to the rescue if you refuse the chip?
We'll see. The social piranha. I noticed that in the pictures of Putin and Biden together from yesterday, that Biden sits with his legs crossed like a proper lady as Putin reclines confidently.
Uh-huh.
It's not helping.
No.
Very true.
It wasn't
Very true.
just when they were sitting together. It was also when they were standing out front of the deal there.
He was
in
standing
Geneva.
like a proper lady.
Right. You got Putin with his arms out to his side, ready to draw his 6-shooters. And then you've got Biden standing there with his hands all crossed, like, it's my first day of kindergarten. This is cool. Yay. Ugh, it's just bad.
It's a bad day yesterday.
It was a very bad day.
Bad day. Whitey Whiteman tweets, I hope at least one of the flashcards had the correct spelling of reset. You got it wrong. It's Paragroost. Remember this moment?
I wanted to present you, which represents what President Obama and Vice President Biden and I have been saying. And that is, we want to reset our relationship. And so we will do it together. We worked hard to get the right Russian word. You think we got it?
You get it wrong. Перегрузка, which means overcharge.
Peragrusta, which means overcharge.
Well, we won't let you do that to us. I promise.
There is so much in that clip. So much. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It shows a weakness of the Democrat Party. It shows how pathetic they are. First of all, wait, you worked hard to get the right Russian word and you still got it wrong? Wow. You got the whole State Department there to help you out. And you got it wrong?
Got it wrong.
You got it wrong. That's Paragrusta. Oh. Okay, well, that means overcharge? Yeah. Well, we're not going to let you do that. So you've already blown the whole thing.
Which administration?
Unbelievable.
Less competent, the Obama administration or the Biden?
That's I think Biden probably, but it's a close second. The Obama administration.
They were just better
second.
at faking it under Obama.
They were, yeah, because at least he had the air of confidence about him. Biden doesn't have that at all, not in the least. But it does go to show they made the transition from George W. Bush to Barack Obama, screwed everything up with the Russians, and now in this transition from Trump to Biden, they're screwing it up all over again. They're the worst. They're not capable of governing this nation. They're not capable. Caffeinated Texan tweets, I'm not confident about anything. That's the president, folks.
Yeah, that was a quote.
Thank you and good night. Yeah, it was a quote.
I'm not confident about anything, he says 5 minutes after a meeting with Vladimir Putin. Help us.
Oh, man. Had Trump said that.
Right. That would be the banner on CNN right now all morning. They wouldn't even have to change the graphic. It would just say up there in quotes.
Yep.
President
I'm not
Trump.
confident about anything. As it is, have they even played that little segment? I doubt it.
Oh, come on.
I haven't seen it.
Hell no. They're not going to do anything
Pathetic.
like that on CNN.
Let's see. From Anti-Fascist, the only way Biden would be threatening to Putin is if Putin was a little girl.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a good one there. That's a good one. Oh.
He'd be standing behind him smelling his hair at least.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he'd be confident about what shampoo she used. Some parents have decided that they're sick and tired of the mask situation in Florida, and they don't believe the experts who are saying there's no risk, there's nothing wrong with this, keep wearing the masks, it's fine, even if you wear them for an extended period of time. This is not dangerous, nothing can happen. They got tired of that. So 6 Gainesville parents sent in the masks that were being worn by their children to the University of Florida for lab testing.
Oh, boy.
And, of course, they decide what they find. Absolutely sparkling clean.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single germ on them. No, not exactly. All kinds. They have 11 dangerous pathogens were found on the masks, including pneumonia, tuberculosis.
Oh, gosh.
Meningitis and sepsis, which are deadly. So is tuberculosis, obviously. Well, pneumonia can be as well. Food poisoning from E. coli. Diphtheria was on their masks. Diphtheria.
So basically, you're describing everything that's floating around inside Jeffy's body,
right,
is represented on masks.
Yeah, exactly. Lyme disease, urinary tract infections. I wonder why that happens. Because they go to the bathroom and they touch their face. That's why. These masks are a repository for all of these pathogens.
Mm-hmm. This is what we said a year ago. Wear your mask. If you want to wear your mask, fine. But just know that 5 years from now, you're going to have all manners of lung diseases and stuff, reports like that. Ta-da!
Yep. And so 1/3 of them were contaminated with dangerous antibiotic-resistant bacterial pathogens. In addition, less dangerous pathogens were identified as well, including pathogens that can cause fever, ulcers, acne, yeast infections, strep throat, periodontal disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and more. The tested masks were new or had been freshly washed.
Oh, no.
New or freshly washed. And they had all this crap on them. Can you, it's unbelievable. They were worn by children ages 6 to 11 attending in-person school, while one was worn by an adult. Unworn masks and a T-shirt worn by one of the children were used as controls. No pathogens were found on the control. None.
So these were new or freshly washed? So if they're new,
still had that stuff all over them.
Where could they possibly have picked this kind of third world disease action up from, huh? Oh, look at where they're made. On the floor in a sweatshop in India.
And they have, this is why they have foot juice on them.
Right, this is why they have foot juice and all sorts of stuff that you just described. Like, that's what's on your face every day, right there, right there.
The masks are being marinated in foot juice.
I mean, think about this.
I wouldn't worry about it, though.
I'm gonna run the risk. I'm gonna breathe freely and run the risk of getting coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Or put this crap on my face
and get diphtheria and a urinary tract infection, or maybe tuberculosis. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. And I'm so glad these parents chose to do this, because I'm sure they're fed up hearing, oh, nothing can happen to you from the mask. Mask perfectly safe. Wear it all the time. Wear it if you want. You can wash them. They're fine. Oh. Huh. Okay.
This reminds me, the parents sitting in the masks for testing. If anybody knows, was there ever a follow-up? Remember when the guy went to get all the vaccines and he said, I'm going to send these in for testing and we're going to see what's in these things? Mm-hmm. Remember that? It was a black guy. He's at a drugstore and he walked out. He's like, we're going to send these in. And they came in.
Yeah, because he stole vaccines?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he stole. I mean, they're free, right? So, do we have does anybody know? If you know, please tag us at Pat Unleashed, at Keith Malinak on Twitter. I would love to know if there was a follow-up on his test results.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it, because we haven't seen that yet.
I have not.
Huh. All right. 888-900-3393. Let me tell you about Scoremaster. If you got some credit dings, this is a great way to go. Imagine your credit score with 30 or 60 or 90 extra points on it. Not 10 or 15 points like others promise. Scoremaster users can add up to 61 points in 20 days or less. That's life-changing. Adding all those points to your credit score can mean faster approvals, better deals, and lower interest rates on everything from buying or refinancing your new home to leasing a new car or applying for a credit card. Scoremaster was created by credit scientists to put you in charge of your finances. One member raised their score 33 points within a few days, another 43 points in a couple of days. Scoremaster is really simple and it's easy to use. It's easy to get started. It takes just about a minute to get started. And if you do it right now, you can try Scoremaster for free and see how many plus points you can add. Go to scoremaster.com/Pat. That's scoremaster.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
I love what Cristiano Ronaldo did yesterday. I love it. This serves Coke right. Fantastic. So is this after a soccer match?
After one of the Euro 2020 soccer matches, he's doing a press conference. He's sit down and answer the questions from the reporters. Yeah.
And here's what happened.
Oh, look, there's a
couple of Cokes there for him, and
big sponsors there.
Yeah. And he
get comfortable,
grabs him and slides him completely away from him.
And he says something here.
Aqua.
Drink water.
Drink water.
That's good stuff. So he gets the Cokes out of the shot. Drink water.
Drink water instead of Coke. And what happened to Coke stock yesterday?
Oh, it lost $4 billion in value immediately after that stunt.
$4 billion. It's phenomenal. Good.
That is
good.
Freaking hilarious.
How woke are you now, Coke? How woke are you? That's great. That couldn't happen to a better company. 888-900-3393. Speaking of soccer, this is kind of exciting. Yeah, because Megan Rapinoe is among a group of trailblazing women.
Yeah.
Replacing Victoria's Secret angels because you don't want hot women modeling underwear anymore. You don't want that. You don't want that. You want lesbians or larger women, right? So that's what they're doing. Apparently, the embattled lingerie brand. Why are they embattled? I didn't know that Victoria's Secret was embattled.
I don't know. Somebody might want to fact check this for me. Do women not wear underwear anymore? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's it. There's just not a market. Maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe not lingerie. I don't know. But they're announcing a new marketing direction, and it's going to feature.
This sounds good.
It's a move intended to move beyond the angel models, and one of those faces is going to be Megan Rapinoe.
Oh, yes!
Yay!
So we get to see Megan Rapinoe walking around in lingerie.
Won't that be great? Oh, man.
What was the story you just had of a company whose shares lost $4 billion in value?
Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like something similar is about to befall Victoria's Secret.
Sure does. May sound like a surprise for those who are familiar with both Rapinoe, one of the most outspoken progressive voices in sports, and Victoria's Secret, which has long drawn criticism for its narrow reinforcement of women's beauty standards. Get out of here. Shut up. But it's reflective of the change needed for a brand that has seen its market share sink for years. As the brand's new head told the New York Times, it's a change that's been a long time coming. This doesn't make any... it's not going to work. I mean, this is cute to talk about, and it's great that you're so woke, and you really want to include everybody type.
Right?
We want everybody style under the sun. They're all beautiful, all equally beautiful. Really? I think you're going to find that maybe in practice it doesn't work as well as you think it might. When the world was changing, we were too slow to respond, said Martin Waters, former head of Victoria's Secret International Business, just appointed chief executive of the brand in February. We needed to stop being about what men want and to be about what women want. All right, well, whatever. Okay, let's see how that works for you.
Yeah, this is going to be good, right? And if you got a problem with it, then you're obviously fatphobic. And if you're fatphobic, then you're obviously racist.
Wait.
That's true. Yeah.
What race are fat people?
Well, I don't make, as you like to say, universal law.
You just live by it.
I just live by it. And this lady gets to educate us about how if you don't like the morbid obesity.
I can't wait to hear. Let's
Here's
see.
your reminder that fat phobia is rooted in racism. As always, if you haven't read this book, go do that.
Black Body.
The main thing to understand is that for the last 300-ish years, white folks have been marketing fatness as a black trait. And this is regardless of whether or not black people individually
What the hell are
were
you
actually
talking
fat.
about?
That was irrelevant. The message they spread was that black women specifically were ravenous and uncontrollable, and these barbaric traits made them fat. On the flip side, thinness was marketed as a white trait.
Okay.
Again, regardless of whether or not individual white people were actually thin, that was irrelevant. The idea was that white women specifically were refined and restrained, and this led them to having delicate, thin bodies. Over the years, these messages have become more subtle, but even today, they are still very prevalent in conversations around race, health, capitalism, and poverty.
I can't take it. I can't. This world is just too weird now. That is okay. Fatness now you're trying to attach to black. That in and of itself is racist. What are you talking about? Nobody equates fatness with blacks. No one.
It's always
get out of here.
A large individual conveying stupid messages like this too, you know? It's like, look, I'm too lazy to put in the work, so I'm just gonna lay it to you this way. If you don't like me, you're obviously
you're
a
racist.
Yeah, but you're white.
But you're white. You're a big fat white person. So what are you talking about?
And I got news for you. You don't even have a good personality. Okay? So you got some work to do.
Wow. Holy cow. That is, how would you like to be around her on a regular basis? That's got to be fun. That's got to be a joy.
I mean, look, her hair. I mean, it's kind of a cool color on her hair. I mean, you got to find something nice to say, right? What was that? Like a teal? What that was like a light blue? What'd she have going on there? Yeah, see, that's kind of fun, right?
No.
I was looking.
No, it's not.
I was looking for something just.
And she's apparently wearing lingerie or something, right? She's got something.
Something you know what?
Weird on.
Oh, she took time out of her new Angels photo shoot for Victoria's Secret to tell us how racist we are because we don't care for her.
Oh man, that's crazy. That is something else.
And gross.
You both, yes, and other things as well that I'm not going to get into right now. All right, we got this great gender-neutral they be story. You remember the they be? Because the parents weren't going to assign a gender to this person. They were going to let them decide what they were. So they were not a baby, but a they be, because that was the pronoun.
Okay.
Well, the they be has decided now what pronoun the they be is.
Oh!
Share that with you. Just watched one of the douchiest guys on television do one of the douchiest segments I've seen in a long time. CNN does this thing every morning called Reality Check.
Yeah, it's good.
And they started doing it, I think, during the Trump administration, and did it every day because they thought they were bringing reality to everything Trump said every day. And so they would check him all the time. And they didn't, they never reality checked any Democrats. So when he left office, everybody was saying, well, what's CNN going to do for their reality check now that they don't have Trump? No, they still do. They still do Trump. And if it's not Trump, it's the Republican Party. They still haven't done, I don't think, a single reality check on Joe Biden. So today's reality check was, were Republicans rooting for Vladimir Putin versus Biden? No. No, they were not. But I think what Republicans did see was that this guy is so incompetent. The president of the United States is so incompetent and so cognitively disintegrated that he didn't have a chance against Putin. And he showed how incompetent and worthless he is. He showed it. And you've got this killer from the KGB going up against a senile old coot.
Yeah. Old ass bum in there.
Yeah, the old ass bum in there. Exactly. And Putin wiped the floor with him. Let's just be honest. I didn't want it to happen. I don't revel in it happening. But Biden also set it up because he's been complaining about how racist the United States is. It's systemically racist. That white supremacy is the worst problem we face domestically. And January 6th was a massive insurrection where white supremacists stormed the Capitol and tried to undo democracy.
Yeah, Democrats led by this president are constantly bad-mouthing this country. Yeah. You don't think that the...
You don't think that's picked up by Putin?
Right, and used against us at an international press conference? Damn right it's going to be done.
It's exactly what he did. And it's exactly what he did, and they won't say a word about that. Not a word. They're despicable. They are traitors to the country.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, CNN is despicable.
Enemy of the state.
Absolutely. Trump had it absolutely right, especially with CNN. They are an enemy to the state.
And that's a reality check. That's how he signs off his stupid segment every morning.
Oh, and he was so pleased with himself today. And that's a reality check.
Back to you.
Okay. You can't dispute what I just said. We'll see you tomorrow for another anti-Trump rant. I almost called it a rally because that's what we do here at CNN. We rally against Trump every single day.
Yeah, that's called the morning meeting. Thank you, Project Veritas.
Right. All right, we got some tweets here. Joe Biden Gump tweets, Putin is probably too busy laughing at America after his meeting with Clueless Joe to be able to take advantage of us.
Yeah.
Bovine look fat scatology. What are you two talking about? Which administration? These aren't two different administrations. This is the O'Biden regime.
Oh, I like it.
Uh-huh.
Obama and Biden. Yeah, one of the
Biden.
same.
I like it. Yuki of the night. So, strapping a Petri dish to your face for hours on end and repeatedly wearing said Petri dish for days or weeks on end without washing them is bad for you? Yeah, and here's the thing that's even worse. These were recently washed, and they were some of them were brand new, and they still had all that crap on them. So imagine wearing it for days or weeks on end or a month on end, like I've done. I've done that.
Yeah. Poor children. What have we done to them for the last 18 months? And I don't know if you saw the video of the unfettered joy of these children in Israel when they finally heard the announcement that they could take their masks off and you never have to wear them again. I mean, look at this. This is great. Oh, look at there. Hey!
Oh, they're happy.
Oh, my gosh. And you're happy for them, but your heart also breaks because look at this emotion. They are ripping up these masks. Freedom. Dear God, we can breathe again.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff.
Of course, every one of those kids is in the hospital right now.
What now? What do you mean?
With COVID-19. Yeah.
Wait, no, this is just a couple days ago. What are you saying?
Yeah, they're all in the hospital. Yeah.
For real?
No.
Oh, okay. Woo, scared me there. Yeah.
That's a great. I long for the day that happens here, when our children are told you don't have to wear any masks anymore. It's over. And adults, you don't either. Okay, you can go into any store you want. It's not going to say a mask required for entry anymore.
But what if I'm not vaccinated?
It's still not going to. I mean, one day that will happen. I don't know when, but one day that will happen. Maybe when we get to 70% vaccinations. I don't know.
Yeah, the rest of you guys can do it so that I can not worry about it.
Well, and you shouldn't. Right? You've already had the disease, for one thing.
I mean, common sense would say I shouldn't, but we don't live in a common sense world.
No, we don't.
Oh.
From Alexandria Go, when will someone start suing these school boards for child abuse? That's a good question. Yeah. And from DMXDM, I'd almost rather watch Jeffy as a Victoria's Secret model than Megan Rapinoe.
Easy.
Almost.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
And that's a reality check.
I mean, yes. And that's a reality check. Also, the reality is it's going to be dang hot today.
Everywhere,
again,
yeah.
117 in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's your high today. Good luck, y'all.
124 degrees in Death Valley.
Yeah.
Now, that is, I think, about 10 or 12 degrees under the all-time record for the planet.
I looked it up. It's 134 degrees is the all-time record for Death Valley.
Okay. Hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth, though?
I'm pretty sure that is also that. Yeah.
134?
Which, of course, global warming, right? Mm-hmm. This record, 134, was set, just last week, probably, right? Oh, no, wait. Oh, July 10th, 1913.
Oops. What caused that? The sun.
The
Yeah, the sun. the sun caused that.
No,
it was
man did it, of course.
The 2 million degree burning orb in the sky. That's what caused that. So
I mean, if you want to get crazy with your conspiracy theories, like there's a
Like-
big glowing orb in the sky.
and it has anything to do with the warming on this planet. Okay.
Whatever.
Wink, wink. All right. This gender neutral they be has just turned 5 years old. This is a couple in Salt Lake City. How proud Salt Lakers must be right now.
What part of town do you think they're in? Sorry, I just was there in Salt Lake City, and I'm going to guess.
And there is a certain part of town where this might be more
Yeah,
prevalent.
might be more prevalent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so this was a thing 5 full years ago. They be.
Apparently.
We've been living in this gender hell for that long now?
Apparently.
Wow.
So now the child, Zoomer, has decided that the pronouns they want are he, his, and that he's a boy. Now, we still don't know the biological gender of this person because
really
his parents won't say. They will not say.
Wow.
We refuse to share the genitals of our child with anybody who doesn't need to know.
Maybe they don't know the difference between what makes a boy and what makes a girl. I don't
Boys have a penis, girls have
there it
a
is.
vagina.
Thanks for the tip.
But is that true anymore?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Can we get a reality check on that one, CNN, please?
Kindergarten Cop was what, 1990? I think it's changed since then. Zoomer turned 5 in May and has reportedly decided that he is a boy and asked his parents to use he, him pronouns. His mom detailed her family's gender creative parenting in a book, Raising Them.
Oh, stop it, you.
So stupid.
Oh, no.
She wrote, my family does regular pronoun checks with one another. Do they? Okay, that's too much right there. I can't be your friend.
Family meeting. We're going to take the temperature of the room here.
Pronoun check. What are you today?
It's the first of the month. Melanak family gather around. What is what's your gender this month?
Today I'm feeling like they, them for sure.
Today?
They, them today, yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
but I need a firm commitment for the whole month.
Yesterday I was all in on she, hers, but
Yes.
today it's they, them.
Okay, but you're going to have to commit to this for the next 30 days. Are you willing to do that?
No, I can't do
Because
that.
our next meeting isn't scheduled until July 1.
All right, well, give me a call on the phone tomorrow and ask me what my pronouns are.
Oh, just come here in the living room and tell us.
The mom said, as we're putting shoes on to head out to run errands, Zoomer asks, hey, Mom, this a 5-year-old kid. Keep this in mind. 5-year-old kid.
Zoomer.
Hey, Mom, what pronouns do you want me to use for you today? The fact that a 5-year-old kid is asking that of his mom tells you that this is just unadulterated child abuse.
It's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm.
That's pathetic. Some days I say, I'm very they, them this morning. Other days I say, she, her feels good right now. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, that's...
Since then, we let family, friends, and Zoomer's teachers know that Z uses he, him pronouns, and everyone got on board and made the pronoun switch. Oh, good. We caught ourselves using they, them a couple of times and quickly corrected to he, him. Z told me once, it's okay. I like they, them, too. I smiled at Zoomer's grace. But if you love he, him, then it's really important to me to use the pronouns you love. Zoomer smiled back.
Oh, no, need to.
Yeah, I do love he, him. That just warmed it would have warmed the cockles of my heart had I not had them surgically removed. But fortunately, I did, so my cockles have not been warmed.
I see.
Yeah.
Zoomer's obviously a girl, or else they wouldn't have come forward.
I think...
You know what I'm saying?
I think
like, they
Zoomer
wouldn't have
was a
been
girl.
proud
Yeah,
if if it was just...
Yes.
Okay.
Zoomer's genitals are female.
It's got to be.
And Zoomer's gone with being a boy, and so they're excited and pleased and proud that it's going against his actual genitals.
And it's kind of a toss-up as to which will affect Zoomer more in Zoomer's life. the fact that he was raised as a baby or that his name is Zoomer. Zoomer's Grace, by the way, as you were saying, that's another good band name I'd like to point out.
Okay.
I got a friend, Paul. We've shared some of his thoughts on the show before where he was going back and forth with people texting him about Biden and you should vote for Biden and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me a text the other day that came to mind when you were reading that story. He said, I think I'm going to put gender pronouns on all my emails, but mix them up, like he, them, hers. Then get super pissy when someone slips up. Quote, I identify as female, but only in the possessive, you bigot. Love you, Paul. Love you, Paul. And he's an engineer, too, so he'll do this because that's how engineers roll.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, so here we go.
Only in the possessive.
Yeah. So he, them,
bigot.
hers. Then get super pissy when someone slips up. Quote, I identify as female, but only in the possessive, you bigot.
That's how stupid
That's the
it
world.
is, though.
That's the world. That's the world we have allowed them to create.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the world they've created.
And you've got to make them, like you say all the time, sit in it.
Yeah.
Live this world. It's your world, too.
Want you to marinate in it.
You created it, and you get the consequences.
And that's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm female only in the possessive, you bigot. And mean it. You got to mean it.
Yeah. Oh, you've got to play the part.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. All right. Now, Zoomer's mom was on some talk show.
Oh.
And she was explaining, that they didn't want to make assumptions about Zoomer's genitals or gender, sex or whatever it is, and that he's come around now, and here she is.
Kyle joins us from her home in Salt Lake City, Utah. Kyle, you don't identify Zoomer as a baby. Some people use that phrase. I'm curious, why did you and Brent decide to raise your child this way?
Because we're morons.
Well, we wanted to do gender creative parenting for two main reasons. The first is that I know a lot of people who are intersex or transgender or non-binary whose parents didn't get their gender assignment right when they were born.
Bull crap.
So we didn't want to make any assumptions about what our child's gender would be. We just wanted to let them learn about gender and play.
For a second. Okay, so you have to assume it's not the parents who got their gender wrong. It is God, right? Isn't that, if you are a religious person, if you believe in God, what you must believe now is that he made a mistake on your gender. Is that possible? I don't think so.
I don't think they have to believe in God. They have to believe that nature screwed up.
Yeah.
That your kid is just a mistake by nature.
It's so bizarre. I don't, and we're just supposed to accept this new reality where you're not supposed to assume anything. They can be whatever they identify as, and that mistakes were made, and that all of this stuff. And we're just supposed to, okay, yep, all right. No, I frankly believe gender is eternal, and I don't think mistakes are made. So I don't know where that leaves us. I guess it doesn't matter because I identify as he, him, by the way.
Okay.
He, him. Yeah,
what
those are my preferred pronouns.
Possessive, though.
Mine.
Okay, good. Listen, think about this. We are so far out of phase as an American society and culture that we're no longer discussing the constitutionality of issues that face our society. We can't even agree on dude and chick.
Right. It's pretty sad.
We are
pretty
adrift.
pathetic. All right, let's see the rest of this.
Oh, goody.
With gender and wait until they could tell us what their gender identity and pronouns were whenever they were ready.
So Zoomer is 4 now, and so take me through again. I like to always try to walk in someone's shoes. You're at the park and someone says, he is so cute. What do you say?
Backhand him.
Thanks.
Pause it for a sec. So at least that's cool. You know, she did say she doesn't make a big deal out of that. If somebody just makes a mistake and says he's cute, then she just says thanks. She doesn't get all pissy and get up in their face and, hey, that's not his preferred pronoun. Which would be kind of an ugly discussion at the park.
Yeah.
All right, let's see the rest.
Okay, whatever, man.
That's genius. I mean, do you correct when are there circumstances that you correct someone when they identify Zoomer as a gender?
Totally. So
Totally.
I think we just, have to kind of measure our capacity to have conversations, right? So like in the grocery store, I'm not gonna like stop somebody who's just trying to pay us a nice compliment and be like, are you ready for your gender, lecture? But if someone is going to be in Zoomer's life, if someone, is a teacher or a healthcare provider and is going to have numerous interactions with them, that's where we would be like, here's what we're trying to do. We want to give them space.
Why are you referring to your child in the plural?
Let me ask you, though, because as I said, you've been very deliberate about this. But what we know is around the ages between 3 and 5, children start to identify as a gender, and that could be through society, colors, and this is what they hear. Zoomer is now expressing a gender, which we're not revealing. But that's the reality that's happening in your home now, which is typical for a child that age.
Totally. Okay. Yeah, I think our gender identities are influenced by a lot of things, right? Our families and cultures and our peers and the media
for as
that we
crazy,
watch.
all right, I think I've seen for as crazy as she and her husband obviously are, she seems more reasonable than I thought she would be. Right? I mean, to say that I'm not going to stand there in a grocery store and berate somebody for getting the gender assignment wrong.
But what you're having to do is you're Overton windowed at this point, right?
Yes.
Because we have played so many mentally ill people on this show that she actually seems like a reasonably mentally ill person.
Yes.
But what happens is when two very mentally ill people decide to procreate, her and her husband, who are going along with this scheme, then this is what you get. You get a kid named Zoomer who you're not going to identify as a boy or a girl.
Unbelievable. All right, 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Sports reporter Jill Savage could be on the show in just a few minutes. We have some tweets here. Swank Think tweets. Putin also straight up called out Biden's cognitive decline. He did?
I missed that. If that's the case.
Don't think I saw that. Share that with us if you know where that is, because I've missed that completely.
Oh, by the way, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Yeah, your audience is awesome. They did some homework for us, and they found that's
the thing.
That was an expression 400 plus years ago.
Oh, okay.
So that might be Biden's age.
Might be.
But, apparently that was a weird phrase.
Carl Smith tweets, I'm confused. Is the greatest threat to our country white supremacy, gun violence, global warming, or something we've not heard of yet? Please help me know what to worry about.
No, that's vaccine hesitancy.
Okay, right.
That's the next one.
And especially the white people who are vaccine hesitant. Capped Sham, if you are doing pronoun checks, you're doing it wrong. And Tobin for Pope campaign, Calvin Klein needs to get with the progressive body positive program like Victoria's Secret and put up a billboard of Jeffy modeling some tidy whities.
Oh, no.
Ooh, you don't want to see
we
that.
do not. No, we don't want to see that.
No, honey.
Rob, no. We do not want to see that.
Ooh.
Can you not? I'm glad.
I just threw up in my mouth.
I was waiting for you to look up.
Yeah. Man.
Should have warned you.
You should have, but you didn't.
No.
All right. Senator Schumer wants to build a home for some people.
Okay.
And
got some pushback?
Yeah, a little bit of pushback on the people he wants to build the home for. Here's what
this initiative actually will house the homeless population that is actually living on our streets. We see them every day.
Yes.
We're about to house them, and they're against it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I have found that my whole career. They wanted to build, when I first was assemblyman, they wanted to build a congregate living place for retarded children.
Wait, what?
The whole neighborhood was
for who?
against it. These are harmless kids. They just need some help.
You can't do that.
They wanted to build a home for retarded children?
It says Chuck Schumer verbatim.
What decade are you living in, my friend? Welcome to 1956.
Yeah, he's not a Republican. You'll never hear that repeated.
Was Chucky Schumer in the movie Something About Mary?
Oh, really?
I think
I
that
don't
was.
remember that?
Yeah, this is him. He was a little bit younger.
It's just a job, really. Something to keep me moving. My real passion is my hobby.
Really? What's that?
I work with retards.
There's a
Isn't
movie.
that a little politically incorrect?
You could not make that movie today.
No.
You could not.
Oh, with that, no one's going to tell me who I can and can't work with, right?
Yes.
You couldn't do it. Seriously, you could not make that movie today.
1998. That was probably
98. Wow.
That's probably the last day you could have made that movie.
I mean, it was obviously to the point where she was shocked by him saying that.
Yeah.
So even back then, it was shocking.
Yeah.
And she said it was politically incorrect. But you could still at least say it in a movie context, doing comedy.
I will say,
but not now.
Also, the Chuck Schumer hasn't aged well.
No, he really has not. He looked a lot better back in 1998.
A congregate living place for retarded children. Our neighborhood was against it. These are harmless kids. They just need...
Not going to tell me who I can and can't love.
All right. Jill Savage, sports reporter, coming up next. 888-727-BECK, joined this morning by Jill Savage, sports reporter for the last, is it 13 years?
Yeah, 13 years.
Yeah? Word is that you were a Pat and Stu fan.
I was. So I have known you much longer than you've known me. You guys used to travel with me every single weekend when I would get on an airplane. I would try and listen to Glenn, and then he had like the OUR stuff, and I would be like bawling on the airplane going like, man, what is happening? I was like, all right, forget that. Pat and Stu all the way. I need some light and entertainment in my life. So yeah, every Thursday, every Sunday, I would just rip through Pat and Stu podcasts.
Oh, nice. Nice. And you were a fan of Linda Locklear, Rhonda Locklear, right? From the Lumbee tribe.
I could not get enough of her.
She's the best.
My name is Rhonda Locklear.
This is one of our favorites of all time.
Pembroke, and I'm a member of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina.
Right.
I have two children. And like any mother, I want the best for my boys. Jacob, my oldest, is a transferring student to UNC Pembroke. And Isaac is in the 8th grade at Pembroke Middle School.
Okay, and then she goes on, of course, to complain about dial-up. And fortunately, the Lumbee tribe doesn't have to deal with dial-up anymore. So we've got that going for us. And isn't there a $20 billion bill or something that's going around for
the story is on your sheet there, second sheet there.
Oh yeah, it is. What is it? I'm sorry. It's $1 billion.
Oh, it's a measly $1 billion.
It's hardly anything. It's $1 billion in grants for broadband on tribal lands.
So we're not done yet. Wiring the tribes.
All right. So you have been all over the country, following sports, covering sports. Tell us some of the stops you've made.
Yeah, so I moved originally from Iowa, born and raised. I was a Hawkeye growing up. And then after that, my first job was in Portland, Oregon. So talk about a culture change going from Des Moines, Iowa to Portland, Oregon. I wasn't really ready for that at the ripe old age of like 23, just going out there and being exposed to the left coast. But lived there for 3 years, moved down to Eugene, covered the Ducks for 3 years as well. So I was right in the middle of all of those Chip Kelly Oregon teams.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was
really
a fun time to be in Eugene. And then from there, moved on to the Pac-12 Network, lived in San Francisco, where we were headquartered for 1 year, and dealt with a lot of interesting people on the streets of San Francisco. Had to get out of there quickly. Lived in Arizona then for 5 years, but covered the Pac-12 mainly. Some other things here and there for little one-offs, hockey, NFL, all sorts of things, but always in collegiate athletics.
So now that you're in the DFW area, are you going to cover Big 12 sports or?
We are going to be moving in a different direction. I have a couple different opportunities in front of me. I wish that I could talk more about them at this point in time, but you can't. That's the way this industry works. It's unfortunate. I'd love to tell you.
Now, you were on Stu's show recently talking about the transgender situation in sports. Give me your take on that. What do you?
Yeah, when I look at it, I'm not a huge feminist. I wouldn't say like, oh, women's power, right? Like, I think that I can go out there and I can work hard and I can do just as well as anybody else. But we're all told to believe that women are so special. They need to be on board of directors. They need to be CEOs of companies, right? Like all of the diversity is coming if you're a woman. Now you go and look at the other side of that. If it's so easy for a man to become a woman, is it really that special being a woman? Right? Like you can't have it both ways. You can't say that by chopping something off, adding something else, like, oh, all of a sudden you're now a woman or a birthing person, as they like to call us lately. I am kind of offended by that. Like you can't. We have to draw the line somewhere.
Right.
But when you when you take that into the sports world, it's not fair, right? Like men, their bodies are built differently.
You're not supposed to notice that.
The
You're not
hips
supposed to talk
are
about
different. The muscle mass is different. You have muscle memory that you've had your entire life. And just because you take a pill and it lowers your testosterone level, that doesn't erase however long you've been a man.
Right.
Up to that point, your body knows, and it's built completely differently, and it can sustain weight, and it can, obviously the stronger, faster, all of that stuff goes into being a biological male from birth, and every single cell in your body has those chromosomes that say you're a male or you're a female. So when we argue about biological sex and what I feel like, if you want to feel like you're a woman, by all means, live your life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the competitive balance in sports, it's not right, because you look at the records that women have, and track and field is one of the best examples. And like, FloJo has some of the best times in the world, and all these records, and other men can come in through high school and run faster than her. And
18 high schoolers have run faster than FloJo.
It's ridiculous that you can see a high school man versus the best woman that we've ever seen in a sport.
Right.
And they're competitive at the same level, and you never see it the other way. Like, why would we need to have a WNBA and an NBA if men and women are going to be the same?
Mm-hmm.
And then you take it and you're like, okay, but we changed a little bit. Like, we tweaked something. We took a pill. Okay. That's not really that different, though.
And you mentioned cutting something off and becoming a woman. They don't even have to do that.
Right.
In sports. They just have to identify as a woman, and they can run track against other women. It's unbelievable that Title IX has essentially gone right out the window. That was sacred text since the 70s up until just recently. And now all of a sudden, we don't care about Title IX. We don't care about defending women. We don't care about women's sports. We're going to put these men up against them. It's really amazing.
Can you even believe that in your field that you're even having to talk about this?
It's so strange. The only thing that I'm used to talking with Title IX in a frame of reference is all of the scholarship limitations, right? You have to have so many women that get scholarships to have the allowable numbers for male sports, football, basketball, right? So this is why we have all of these female sports at all of these different universities so that they can equal out football and basketball for the men.
Yeah.
That's what Title IX was in my world when I first started. That's what I had to learn to get up to speed for that. And now it's something completely different.
Yeah.
And soon it looks like the Olympics might be allowing transgender women to compete against
the weightlifting.
Yeah.
They've
already got one, right? I think there's one that's already in the games.
Well, and she's beautiful.
Aren't they all?
Extremely lovely. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But about that.
Then just the other day, the Biden administration completely extended protections through Title IX. Like, it's a done thing now. It's a protection now that's afforded under Title IX.
You can't have
transgenders.
You can't have another opinion now.
No, you can't.
Oh, no.
And you're a bigot if you don't agree.
Amen.
Yeah. So
3 bigots in a room.
Pretty amazing. Recently, you apparently went to a Bitcoin convention, I heard?
I did. Yeah, I was at Bitcoin 2021. It was in Miami, and I'm happy to say I did not get COVID. There were 12,000 people there, and I think 4 of them tweeted online. They're like, I tested positive after this. Okay, well, there were 12,000 people there. Like, some of them were bound to have COVID.
Right. That's fun.
Yeah. Was anybody wearing masks?
I survived.
You seem to.
I think, less than 1%. There were a couple.
Really?
There were a couple outliers that were still wearing the masks, but for the most people, and a lot of them came from New York and LA, and they were like, "This is the first time I've been anywhere with a lot of people without masks."
Mm-hmm. And where was that held?
This is kind of cool. It was in Miami.
Okay. Are you a big believer in Bitcoin?
I am. My family actually mines it. as well.
Your family mines Bitcoin?
Cool
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is cool. I've never met
is?
a Bitcoin miner before. Well, yeah,
Okay.
you got computer system and you're continually.
What's your electric bill like?
The Bitcoin pays for it.
Does it?
It's
You make enough in Bitcoin. You find enough
it's economically sustainable.
So how does that work?
That's amazing.
How's that work? You got a room where a computer is just working all day, or what's the story?
Yeah,
on that?
so the
or a
lines-
series of computers.
Yeah, you have to have a series of
Yeah.
computers. Like you can't just do one in your basement anymore. Like
So
you
you
used
guys
to
are
be
like
able
really
to.
serious about it.
Yeah, my dad's an electronic engineer
Wow.
for the last 32 years. So
There you go.
that worked out a little bit better for us. We're like, oh, we know what this is. We
That's
can
cool.
figure this out. Computers in a room and setting them up. So yeah.
That is awesome because if you're not paying for them,
Well,
you know, it's $60,000 a coin, or
Right,
it's probably
right.
what 45 now.
Yeah, right at 40.
And you're getting them for free. That's
Well, you
pretty
pay-
good return.
Yeah,
You pay for the machine up front. So
Right,
it's a
sure.
very capital
Yeah, how does walk us
intensive.
through? Take us back to the patent studio.
So
Walk
it
us
costs
through
a
this.
lot of money to buy the mines.
Does it?
Yeah. And
Are these are special computers?
these are special computers.
I can't just do it with my
Correct.
laptop.
Can we go to Best Buy after the show and
No,
just grab
so
one?
and
or-
this is the thing. There's a big shift that's actually happening right now, which I think is one of the coolest things that's happening in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin used to be mined, I wouldn't say exclusively in China, probably 60% is what they assumed to be mined in China. And the rest
Really?
of the 40% was spread throughout the world. Well, China is cracking down. They say for environmental reasons. I think it's they're seeing the price of Bitcoin go up, and they're like, these people can't have freedom.
Right.
We can't
Right.
let them keep doing this. They're going to be
Exactly.
outside the system. So at the end of the fourth quarter, beginning of the first quarter of next year, all of these mines are going to be migrating from China to North America, and a lot of them are actually going to be coming into Texas. And I know there's a lot of talk about renewable energy and all this and the power grid, and I've become so much more knowledgeable about all of these things that I never really thought I would have to know, but because it's in my financial interest to know them, it's much easier to learn. And so when you have Bitcoin mining, it's the best thing that we have found so far to make the grid green. You can use all of this excess waste of energy that was just going off into space, and we can now harness that and create Bitcoin.
Is it too late
It's
for
great.
Pat Gray to be a part of the ride here?
No, so from the Bitcoin conference, Pat, I'll bring in the inside scoop.
Okay.
Everybody thinks that this is about 1995 in the age of the internet. It's still very early on. I was talking to one of the CEOs.
In Bitcoin mining?
In Bitcoin in general.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
one of the CEOs from a big Bitcoin mining company, they're a private company out of Minnesota, he was like, how many suits do you see here at this conference? None. How many will be here in 5 years? It'll be flooded with them. Because in 2020, we really saw more of the institutions getting in on Bitcoin, right? Like everybody wondered, is it here to stay? Are they going to ban it, right? Nobody knew what was going to happen. But now you have the Wells Fargos, the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs of the world. They're all getting in on Bitcoin. The too big to fails, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Those companies are getting in on it. Visa now has a credit card called Fold where you can get paid back. Instead of airline miles, you can get Bitcoin back. So
Wow.
it's starting to catch on in a more institutional corporate way.
That is really cool. And people, I guess less knowledgeable people have said that really the mining thing is over. It's too hard now to find them. That's apparently not true. When you're doing it right.
It is difficult, but again, this is going to be the thing where the migration from China to North America, we're going to have a much bigger slice of the pie. So to mine it, you have to have your computer, and then you join a pool, right? A pool of people to make it easier to solve the problems, if you will, to get the Bitcoin itself.
Okay, and it's an algorithm?
It's an algorithm, right? You're essentially just trying to solve a puzzle, and your reward when you solve it is a Bitcoin, right? You get a block, and that is a Bitcoin, and you get back the percentage that you put in.
So if someone wants to get into cryptocurrency, and maybe they see that Bitcoin is trading, around the $40,000 a coin right now. Let's see, what is it now? Okay, and 38,000 right now.
Yep.
And they want to be involved, but maybe they're seeing the price of Bitcoin even at its currently relatively low rate is where it has been. Is there any other coin out there that you would lead people to?
See, I am a Bitcoin person, and this is why. So I am also a Blaze TV subscriber. I totally am on the gold and silver bandwagon, but I'll take you through this example, right? When I went to my bank to have a wire transfer to get all of that shipped to me, I had to have a name, a physical address of the company, a routing number. I had to write that special note in to hey, this is my stuff that you need to mail it to me. This is my transaction number. In Bitcoin, you can do that on your phone and you can send money in seconds, right? It takes the bank 2 to 3 days still for that money to flow through. So if you just look at Bitcoin as a technology that fixes that problem, if that was all that Bitcoin did, it's here to stay for that reason alone, because it's easier to transfer money around the world in Bitcoin.
And as you explained earlier off air, explain how it's the base for everything else.
Yeah, so I like this. Michael Saylor is the CEO of a company called MicroStrategies. He just got on a year ago, and he has become like the biggest cheerleader. He explains Bitcoin as digital property rights. You can't go and buy real estate at a fraction. You can't buy gold at a fraction, right? An ounce of gold is what, $1,900 or whatever it is right now. You have to buy that whole thing. You can put in $1, $10, $20, $100, whatever you want to buy. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin. And so when everybody used to say, oh, it's digital gold, I never liked that explanation until I realized that it really is a digital asset that is able to be broken down to the millionth of a fraction.
Yeah.
And when you see that, you're like, oh, I can buy smaller pieces of it and still get a piece of the pie. I'm under 40 years old. I've been priced out of everything, right? Anything that the boomers own, housing, stocks, all that, right? You can still get in to this. This is an area for younger people to actually be able to put their money in and kind of store their wealth. And you can do it $100 a month.
Yeah. Wow. I'm really surprised that there's still, that you say that we're kind of at the beginning of this, because it seems like, the normal person has been priced out of it. And it seemed, because people have said that you can't really mine it anymore, but you're kind of saying neither of those is true.
We are. So,
yeah.
And we are new to the mining space as well.
Your family is?
Yeah. So we've been doing it just, for a very short amount of time, and it's already something. Yeah, it's already lucrative. Let's keep it at that. Yeah. It is fun. It is a lot of fun, and it's something that I look at as the foundation of the monetary system going forward.
How many Bitcoins do you have?
Okay, don't answer that.
You never. This is the thing that you learn.
Never say?
Well, one, probably yes. Never say it out loud. But you never have enough, and you always wish that you started sooner.
Yeah, sure.
And the more information that you know about it, the more into it you are. It doesn't fall apart under scrutiny. I think that's the coolest part.
Is it possible to either lose the Bitcoin or have them stolen from you?
You should have your keys still, yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of those stories like, oh, I forgot my password.
Forget their password, and then you're screwed, right? You get 10 shots at it, I think.
Yeah.
And if you can't get it in 10 shots, you're done. It goes away.
Yeah, so the Winklevoss twins were very early on Bitcoin, and I've heard that they have their passwords cut up in different pieces and put in different safety deposit boxes around the country. So they'd always be able to get back to it, but that if that's true or not.
That's interesting.
But they have a lot,
Yeah. Well, and they weren't mining, right? They were just buying. Is that true?
Yeah,
or did they mine as well?
They had their Zuckerberg payout of, I believe it was $65 million for Zuckerberg stealing Facebook from them at Harvard. they went to him and they're like, hey, we need you to code this for us. And he's like, yeah, okay. Oh, I got a little busy over here. I can't finish your project, but I started my own a couple weeks later. So they had that $65 million, and they were huge into Bitcoin early. So.
I wish I would have been huge into Bitcoin early. We started talking about it at, was it $300?
Yeah.
I think it was 300 when we really were focused on it.
My question for you is, Stu and Glenn are on the train.
They are.
But Pat didn't join.
Pat did not join, did not get on the train. No, that's what Pat always does. Is Pat waits a little too long.
You haven't waited too long.
Yeah, I haven't.
No, I promise. I would say from what I see going forward, getting involved in this more and more, we are still early because they are still going to have the opportunity to get into more corporations. There's not really a place in a 401k yet when you're able to reach that financial market as well for a place for them to hold Bitcoin if they can get into your Fidelity, your TD Ameritrade, all that.
Coinbase is now a publicly traded company.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Good times. Hey, what is it with your industry of sports? It has the appearance that it's so far left. Why is that? Just I want to throw that out there.
Because it is.
Because the audience that they serve is not. So why is that?
Do they not understand that? These reporters, these anchors, do they think that everybody believes as they do? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I look at it, and I've studied this, right? Like, these are my friends, these are my colleagues, and I just wondered, like, how do you feel so comfortable just coming out and saying that? Because they don't cover news, they cover sports. So I feel like they thought, oh, this isn't a conflict of interest if I just put all of my leftist views out there. I think COVID was really that time where we saw sports and news intertwining. And a lot of those major writers across the country were rooting for sports not to happen, right? They were all like, oh, we shouldn't play. We should postpone. And
It's
I'm like,
selfish to play.
Yeah.
You shouldn't take that chance.
I thought if we're going to change something about the season, we should play sooner, not later, because cold and flu season is coming later. So you want to get as much out of the way as possible.
Yep.
Get that under your belt, and you would give yourself more time to make up games. Well, the Big Ten delayed, the Pac-12 followed them, and there were teams that were playing like 3 games this season because they waited so long.
Yeah, it was agonizing, and it's agonizing to listen to ESPN anchors, whether it's a racial issue, whether it's COVID-19, whatever comes up, they're on the extreme left and seem to be proud of it.
I don't think that they understand that Colin Kaepernick wasn't a good quarterback before any of this happened.
Right.
Like, there was a reason that he wasn't starting, and it had nothing to do with his race, right? Chip Kelly, my guy from Oregon, was out there with him in San Francisco, and you would think that Chip and, run pass quarterbacks that he had at Oregon, like Colin Kaepernick would be the guy. Chip didn't even go with him.
Right.
Like, that would be the ideal situation for him.
And he's been offered several backup jobs that he's turned down. He doesn't want to have anything to do with the NFL. He doesn't want to play. He's
getting paid from Nike not to play.
So
why would you go play? I'd take that deal.
Yeah, exactly. He's not risking his life and limb, and he's making $20 million, reportedly, $20 million a year from Nike. So, why would you?
Good money if you can get it.
Good money. Yeah, not bad.
Put it into Bitcoin.
Well, Jill, thanks for coming in.
It's been great.
Great to meet you. Great
too.
to see you. And so, do you want to talk about what you're doing, or can you not?
I can't do it yet.
Really?
I wish that I could. It's one of those things, like, in media where...
You tell us when we can...
Yeah, let us know.
It's a fickle industry.
Let us know, and we'll spread the word when you can.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
You want a Kexi cookie on your way out as a parting gift?
Oh, yeah. This is my family's cookie company. So Monique Battaglia sent us
thanks, Monique.
cookies from my own company, which is kind of cool. But help yourself to one on the way out.
Thank you.
They're yummy.
And tomorrow we got to get into this Robin DiAngelo situation. She's following up White Fragility. It was that fun book with Nice Racism, which really doubles down on the whole white people are bad situation. And she even tells you why it's okay to not like white people.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you're not a racist for not liking white people. She'll let you know about that.
So, wait, what's the name of the book? Good summer reading, right?
It's Nice Racism.
Okay.
Yeah, great beach read. So we'll get into that and a lot more. Plus, you can join me on the Glenn Beck program with Jeffy, filling in for Glenn. Next, we'll see you tomorrow.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.